ray of hope in the quest for a treatment for the coronavirus. A drug that was developed for Ebola but failed to stop that virus is showing some promise against this one. Paula Ferris is here with more on all that. Good morning, Paula.
Good morning, Robin. We could all use a little bit of good news. And right now, this drug is being used on those with the most severe cases of coronavirus. And so far, it has been successful.
This morning, as the nation battles the growing crisis, a potential glimmer of hope. Officials are looking at several drugs that are already in production to see if they could potentially battle this deadly virus. And one in particular has been mentioned several times by the nation's top experts.
There are a number of candidate therapies that literally, as I speak to you today, are being tested in randomized controlled trials. One of these is called remdesivir.
Remdesivir is a medication that people are experimenting with to treat coronavirus. And again, that looks promising thus far.
Remdesivir, which is delivered through an IV, was originally created to help fight Ebola. It was not successful, but it had few side effects. And now some coronavirus patients are being offered the non-FDA approved drug on a trial basis.
My husband's 44. We never saw this coming. It's devastating.
Like Amanda Pomichan's husband, T2, a father of 3 young daughters, who she says is in critical condition from coronavirus, and he was just administered his first dose of remdesivir.
I'm very hopeful. Very hopeful.
And Chris Kane, whose health rapidly deteriorated after he tested positive for coronavirus.
Every morning I'd have a fever, and it was very, very, very tough to breathe.
He was admitted to a hospital on Monday, March 9th. Doctors tried everything, but to no avail. The next day, he was administered remdesivir, which he says finally saved him.
I think within 48 hours, I was feeling a lot better than where I was. I think that remdesivir gave it the extra jump start or kick start or whatever I needed to kind of turn that corner.
So good to hear, right? Chris was given a 5-day course of remdesivir, which is administered through an IV. Doctors expect him to make a full recovery. Now, as we've been reporting this morning, we're still about 12 to 18 months away from a vaccine. But because this particular drug has been so successful, our medical unit says it can be fast-tracked for FDA approval, Robin, and then administered for emergency use. You're talking about a ray of hope. I think we may have it, Robin.
Extremely promising. Thank you so much, Paula. Let's go back to Dr. Jen Ashton in our call center with more. So, Jen, tell us more about this drug.
Well, Robin, what's appealing about this drug and many others that are being studied right now is that we already have safety data on it, we have dosing data, and it's available. So those are 3 really important criteria. But to be clear, this drug has gotten a lot of attention. We still don't have conclusive data. We have anecdotal case reports, which are important, but we need obviously a lot more patients. But
crazy.
as we hear the case counts go up and unfortunately death counts go up, it's also really important to remember that as of now, about 80,000 people have recovered. So to keep our eye on that news also.
Yeah, we want to see that number go up and up and up. Okay, Jen.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking.
Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. We all are affected by this this coronavirus, and the fact that we have to be changing up our studios. We all working from the home office. That's how we're doing it. Now look, we're gonna continue speaking about this coronavirus issue. And one of the main reasons why we're gonna continue to do that is because, again, of the scare tactics that's out there, and the fact that the mainstream media ain't giving people any fear reporting of the whole situation. Now, this pandemic or this virus that's going on out there affects everybody, and we want to let people know that you must be mindful of the virus. You must be mindful that there is the COVID-19/coronavirus disease out there now that's actually killing people. Let's put that out there. Yes, it is actually killing people. People are losing their lives. However, what we are saying, our issue here is to the point where you have schools sending home kids for over a month. You have people not going to work, not getting a paycheck. You have people basically quarantined or in their homes, so days, who knows, maybe weeks. It's not right. It's a scare tactics. It's a scare tactics by few, for whatever reason, be it political or financially, but they are doing it because they have a platform, or a lot of them have what you call certain academia. They tell you about their credentials and their knowledge as it relates to this whole virus. Now, what they are not telling you and willfully not telling you is that there is no reason for the general public to be scared. There is no reason for John public to be scared, for Americans to be scared. There's none. There's none. And we're gonna go into the reason why there is none. But we can look at history, and history can, when we compare the last pandemic, like the swine flu, to this present COVID-19 disease, you must have to ask yourself, why? Why is the hype? Why is the scare tactics? What's going on? What is so special about this disease right here, this COVID-19, this strain of the coronavirus than the swine flu? What's different? And when you actually dig deep and do the research and stop listening to those political pundits and mainstream media, you will find out that as it stands right now, a lot more people died from the swine flu globally and here in America than the coronavirus presently. Now, that's one way of looking at it, to damper down on the hype, or to let yourself from not feeling so scared. Again, family, our whole argument here is for you not to be scared, not to be fearful of this disease, for you not to buy into the hype of social media, of mainstream media, and certain political pundits not to buy into that. It's time for you to utilize critical thinking and common sense. And it's sad to say that a lot of people out there don't do that. And a lot of people, even in a situation like this is an occurrence that will happen. It's happened in the past, it's happening now, and as the sun is going to come out tomorrow, it's going to happen again, right? There is no need for people to be pointing finger right now at no one person. The truth about it, not even at the government. There is no need to be pointing finger at the government to the extent where you are criticizing the government for introducing this disease. Look, we all have reason to be fearful, not fearful, but skeptic of our government. We all have that. And a matter of fact, we as the electorate, we as the bosses have a right to check these our governments, and what they are doing while they're in public office. We have a right to do it. We have a right to be skeptic. But knowing this particular virus and knowing where it was originated from, which is China. Don't look. This disease originated in mainland China. That's where it originated, in mainland China. So all the other propaganda that you're hearing about here in America or Canada, it's not true, family. It originated in China. China themselves acknowledged the fact that it originated in China. And because they were called out on the fact that they didn't make it known to the world that the disease was there back in December, right? They tried to say, oh, well, look, Americans brought it here. So whether or not Americans brought it to China or it originated in China, we all know China is where that disease come from. All right? Now, there are certain key points I want you guys to follow me on, or to listen to what I'm saying. Certain key points. And maybe these key points will put your mind at ease. Okay? Now, if you should pull up the New York Post, and if you should go to NBC, CNN, and many other mainstream media, this is what you will see. They will give you two numbers. They will give you two numbers, family. The first number that they will give you is the total number of cases, or the total number of people worldwide that's been affected by this coronavirus. That's the first number they will give you. The second number they will give you is the death toll, the amount of people worldwide that's died from the coronavirus. That's what they give you. That's the two numbers, right? And why they give you those two numbers? Because those two numbers, giving those two numbers out to people daily, minutely, hourly, their objective will be accomplished. And what is their objective? To scare goddamn fear into Americans. To drive a sword within the American psyche. Right? To create chaos. There's a lot of people out there now, family, who love what's going on. They love this. They love the fact that you're on lockdown. They love the fact that 31 territory within the United States now have the military forces out in the streets. They love this. Right? There are people who will become millionaires and billionaires because of this virus. So they push certain narrative to benefit their point of view, right? Now, I told you about the two figures that these guys told you, will tell you about every single day. Local media do the same thing, mainstream media, none of them do the same thing. Very few people, if any, speak about this third number I'm going to tell you right now. This third number that you don't hear about is the amount of people that is worldwide that have been recovered. That means they got sick, and after a certain period of time, very short period of time to be honest with you, they recovered. Mainstream media don't want to give you that number, my brother. They don't want to tell you that number. Why? Because maybe you will introduce some common sense and critical thinking, and then you will ask yourself, so what the hell is all this big shilling all about? What this big blown up, what this big scare tactics is all about? Why it look like it's gloom day? Why it look like this is, apocalypse? This is zombie world, zombie land. Why? And you have to ask yourself this question. I do. I ask myself that question. When you look at the amount of people living here in the United States of America, when you look at the amount of people living in China, when you look at the amount of people living in Europe, to be specific, Spain or Germany or Italy, right? Let's say Italy for right now, because Italy have the most case when it comes to death. And you look at these actual figures that's out there, you ask yourself, why the big hoopla? Now, the first figure that these people will tell you about is this figure right here, 376,942 cases. Again, numbers are significant. Numbers are important. It is important for you to know the number, for you to know the stats. Because without you knowing the stats, look, I've been talking to members of my family members all over the United States, right? Who I love dearly. And they are not aware of these numbers. My family members are not aware of these numbers. My family members in my family, are listening to mainstream media and becoming scared. My members in my family sit down listening to mainstream media and becoming paranoid about this virus. And I'm saying to them, don't do that. There's no need for you to do that. Yes, be mindful of the disease, but you don't need to be paranoid. You don't need to be running to the stores and buy out all the grocery you can. Don't do that. 376,942 individual cases, real time, family, real time. People affected. How many die? Are we talking globally? We're going to tell you territory by territory, how much people have been affected. Globally, no, that is, we focus on global numbers. You know why? Because when you look at the global number, right, with 195 territories involved, you have 195 territories, sovereign territories, that have been affected by this COVID-19 disease. And these are the numbers that we are talking about. And these are the numbers who are driving us so goddamn scared. And these are the numbers why we're shutting down school for months. And these are the numbers why people are going out there to work, or people are being asked to be confined to the house. These are the numbers. 376,000 totally. People, do you understand what Trinidad said? Look, again, minor. That's affected. That's affected. That affected number include people who are presently sick, presently in quarantine, and presently who have passed. So totally, the virus touched 376,942 lives, individual lives. This virus took globally, real-time numbers, family. Again, this is public information. You all can get this yourself. This ain't nothing. This ain't something where I'm privy to. I'm not privy to this. Not more than you are. 16,433. Now, we're going to talk about these numbers in a minute, because compared to the last time that we report on this, which was the last time we report on this was Saturday, these numbers, yes, have climbed. But we're going to speak about that too. However, the focus right now is for you to be looking at the numbers, the stats. The amount of people that have died thus far, globally, 16,433. Now that's where the mainstream media stop. This third group of number, they don't tell you about. Globally, the amount of people that have recovered from COVID-19, 103,993 individuals recovered. Did you hear that? Did you hear that third figure, family? It is important. If you don't catch nothing else thus far, catch this. 103,993 individuals who got sick, who was infected by this disease, took sick, and either went home or went to the hospital, and after a short period of time, they recovered. How much or how many times do you guys hear about that third group of number, or that third set of number? How much time and energy does mainstream media or your local news spend on telling you about the amount of people that's been recovering? Now, mind you, this is what we're going to do, because we love numbers. Numbers is our forte. Let's look at two numbers right here. A matter of fact, let's compare the amount of deaths globally to the amount of people that's been recovered. That means the amount of people who took sick, now they ain't sick no more. So the most significant number here is the amount of deaths, right? Because those people ain't coming back to us. That's it. They're gone to the Maker, or they're gone in Never Land. may their soul rest in peace, 16,000 of our fellow human beings, 16,433 passed away. Okay? Now, let's compare that number to the 103,993 individuals who recovered. What's the ratio? What's the mathematical ratio between those two numbers? We're talking about 5 to 1, if not more, close to 6 to 1. What does that mean? That means we have people recovering from this virus 5 times more than we have dying. Ain't that a beautiful thing? Ain't that something positive mainstream media supposed to be out there telling the people daily? So look, don't be scared. Yes, there's this virus out there, right? COVID-19, right? A different strand or strain of the coronavirus than we have seen before. Yes, it's out there, and this is what we want you guys to do, or the public to do. Personal hygiene. Wash your hands. Okay? Quarantine yourself for a while, or whatever advice they want to give you. Right? But it is not something for you to run in the hills and hide for. You don't have to do that, because we have 5 times the amount of people recovering than the amount of people dying. They don't tell you that. They ain't spreading that good news. That's too good of a news to spread. That news is too uplifting. It's too inspiring to tell people that what the ratio of death to recovery is. Let's compare 2 other numbers. So again, globally, the amount of people that's affected, what did I say? 376,000. 376,000. Right? The amount of people that's recovering, 103,000. So we look at it from that perspective. The ratio is 2 to 1. The ratio is basically 2 to 1. And climbing. 300,000, 100,000. So for every 3 persons that get infected, 1 person have recovered. Now, you might say that odds is not, the best odds out there. You might say that. But every 3 person that get affected, 1 person is recovered. This number in and of itself, give us no reason to panic. Give us no reason to be scared. Look, we're talking, look, family, at this point, we don't even have 500,000. When you compare the amount of people living, let's go to the amount of people in America that's been affected. In the United States, 42,803 persons affected by the disease in the United States. Real numbers. These numbers are real. real numbers, right? These numbers are on-time numbers. These numbers are numbers that's happening as we speak. The amount of deaths, 579 persons died. 579 persons died. Now, for those of you who may say, but Anthony, the number is climbing. Yes, the number is climbing, and we recognize that the number is climbing. And we don't know at what time it's going to peak and where it's going to cut off. That's not the issue. We're going to go into the reason for us doing this video today, because what we want you to recognize is that there's a drug out there. So every person, no, nobody at this point is talking about the drug that's out there. Follow what I'm saying? Mainstream media ain't talking about it. Your local news media ain't talking about it. For the most part, many of the doctors them out there don't even know about it. The CDC ain't putting the drugs out there and blast as yet, because the CDC have their own procedure before they can do that, right? So that the CDC, and even though the CDC is aware of it, at this point, my brothers and sisters, no more Americans need to lose their lives because of this virus. Not one more American need to, a matter of fact, not only American, globally nobody is need to lose a life. What the mainstream media ain't telling you, and the reason they ain't telling you because it won't suit their purpose. But in China, the second most affected place. In Italy, the first more affected. I'm talking in relationship to death. These people are utilizing this drug and getting positive results of this drug. So away from the numbers that are so minuscule to the point where it shouldn't allow you to be feared, there is also a drug out there. They don't want to talk about this. To tell you about this drug would be maybe premature to them, or would be more too positive to them to tell the people. They want you to be living in fear like a lot of you are living in right now. They love the fact that you are confined to your casa, to your house. You're not working. You have people out there who love that the stock market is going down. They love this. You have people out there who are making millions because of this virus. Now look, we're gonna play a clip for you. And this is CNN, right? And CNN is interviewing the director of the CDC, and they're going to be speaking about this drug. And I want you to listen to the professionals, the guys with the credentials, before we make our comment on this.
Fast-track antiviral treatments for patients with coronavirus, saying that an anti-malarial drug would be made available, and he said that the drug would be made available almost immediately. When the public hears that, and obviously there's a lot of interest, a lot of hope in this, how much confidence should we put in that? And do we know that that drug would even work? Because, as you know, FDA Commissioner Hahn, he didn't go that far.
No. So let me put it into perspective for the viewers, and perhaps we'll understand it better. There is a drug, two drugs. They're very similar. Chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine. They've been used for decades for malaria, as well as for the treatment of certain autoimmune diseases like lupus. It's a very inexpensive drug. It's tried and true. It's been around for a long time. There's been anecdotal, non-proven, anecdotal data that it works. When people give it to someone, it makes them better. But when you have an uncontrolled trial, you can never definitively say that it works. In addition, there's been some in vitro data in the test tube. You put hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine in with the virus, it tends to impede the virus. It's done that with a number of other viruses. What was said today at the press conference, this is an already approved drug. So it could be available, for example, when you use it off-label, which means somebody uses it for a purpose that it wasn't officially approved for. What the president was saying is that we're going to look at all of these drugs and we're going to try to get them available in the context of some sort of a protocol where you just don't distribute drugs willy-nilly. You may make it more accessible than you would have previously, but you do it in the context to at least get some feel for both safety and whether it works. That was the message about the malaria drug, hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine.
I mean, the reason we ask, obviously, Dr. Fauci, about this, and it's constantly this balance, I imagine, in your job and everyone's job, this balance between hope and honesty. I mean, it was described, as you know, at the press conference as a game changer. I mean, again, how should the public interpret that sort of thing?
You know, Sanjay, I'm not so sure it was, I mean, I was watching it on TV. I was, around the corner from the conference looking at it on TV. I don't think it was necessarily described as a game changer, but let's make sure people understand what it is. Today, there are no proven safe and effective therapies for the coronavirus. Okay. That doesn't mean that we're not going to do everything we can to make things that have even a hint of efficacy more readily available, so long as you do it in the context of some sort of protocol that would take a look at getting some information about safety and efficacy. But there's no magic drug out there right now.
Okay. I just want to, just understand, just want to put it in non-doctor terms because I'm not very smart. People should not go to their doctor and say, I want chloroquine because I hear that may work. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, I think if you would want it, if I wanted to use chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, I try to do it in some sort of expanded access clinical trial.
Okay, let's stop right there for a second, family. Hydroxychloroquine. So, now we're going to play for you in a few, right? The Governor Cuomo from New York, right? The fact that he asked for and is getting a large shipment of this drug to use. Now, one of the things that we don't like about mainstream media, or what they try to do, like in this interview with Anderson and CNN. These people have no goddamn compassion, or these people so politically blind, and these people so damn with hatred, right? And contempt for the American people and our system of government, to the point that they will utilize their platform, right, not to encourage you or not to give you a broader sense of what's going on. No, they want to steer you in a certain way that you will confine to their ideals, which is rubbish. Right now in Florida, and again, certain information or certain messages ain't getting the amount of airtime like it should, and that's why we use, whatever platform we have to tell our listening viewers about, what's real. and not from a bias or political ideology. Here is the CDC saying to you, right? Here's these people, these so-called professionals saying to you that, look, yeah, this drug is out there, and maybe a lot of people, and it's been out there for years, for decades. This drug is out there for decades, because this virus family is a respiratory virus. That's what it is a respiratory virus. So this one drug has been out there now for years. This COVID-19 is a different strand of the coronavirus, but it's still a respiratory illness. So these people are saying to you that, look, yes, we are aware of this drug. However, because we don't go through our process as yet, because we don't go through our process, because we cannot do our control studies, right? We ain't gonna recommend this drug. Now, these bastards over here, these son of a bitches over here, these so-called journalists and these so-called medical professionals, they would prefer to see Americans die. They would prefer to see the number of people affected by this virus increase before recommending or suggesting publicly that there is this drug out there that people have been using. Family, it's no secret. This is no secret. This is nothing new. They don't want to tell you about it, right? They're gonna tell you about the process. Oh well, look, as a scientist, there is a certain procedure that we have to go through. We have to have a certain amount of people here in a controlled setting, and we have to render this drug in a controlled setting and see blah 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 blah. No, look. Under certain circumstances, we say yeah. We say more power to you, right? More power to you under certain circumstances. We ain't gonna knock your process, but we're talking about life and death. We're talking about 579 people die here in America. 579 people died here in America. 42,803 people affected. You're going to sit and talk about your policies or your procedures? When the President of the United States, look, like the President of the United States or not, call him a buffoon or whatever you want to call him, okay? The President give the order to remove all red tapes. He's saying that if there's a drug out there to save Americans' life, let's implement it. Let's utilize it. Let's do that. What is so goddamn wrong about that? Let me tell you something, man. If I guarantee you, if this virus should hit home and you can find a doctor to prescribe this drug, like, for those of you who don't know, if you read the New York Post right now, there's an article in the New York Post today, you can go read it for yourself. In Florida, let me tell you about this American in Florida. This American in Florida, right? The doctors give him less than no time to live. They say, yeah, merely hours. So this guy was there, wishing his family, man, look, all the best, was putting his house in order. And a friend called him and said, man, look, cut your crap. You ain't going nowhere. It's not your time yet. There's this drug out there. That they have been using in China, that they have been using in Italy, and that they're using here in America too. The only thing is that the CDC don't sanction it, or haven't. No, let me take that back. Yes, the CDC have sanctioned it, but they haven't sanctioned it or give it the seal of approval for this strand of disease, for the COVID-19. But the CDC is fully aware of it, right? And the CDC have approved it now for over 20 years. And it was like, really? And his buddy said, yeah, dude, it's out there. Ask your doctor for it. So homeboy went and he said, look, hey doc, I need the drug. And he told the doctor what the name of the drug is. And the doctor was like, well, we can't really record. He said, give me the goddamn drug. I'm going to die anyway. It's out there right now. Stories like this, they ain't promoting. Why? Because if the general public hear about stories like this, they're going to be like, well, why the hell are we in a panic? Why are we living in fear or scared? Within 2 days, a homeboy getting this drug is cured. What drug I'm talking about? Hold on there. Let's go to the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. Listen to Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat.
We're also going to conduct immediately trials for the new drug therapy, which we have been discussing. I spoke to Dr. Zucker about it. There is a theory that the drug treatment could be helpful.
No, Dr. Zucker is talking about Anthony Zucker. No, he's the person leading this. He's one of the key medical scholar that's on this team right now. As a matter of fact, he was the one who would just play you and doing that interview on CNN a while ago.
We have people who are in serious condition, and Dr. Zucker feels comfortable, and as well as a number of other health professionals, that in a situation where a person is in dire circumstance, try what you can. The FDA is going to accelerate to New York 10,000 doses. As soon as we get those doses, we'll work with hospitals, doctors, and families on using those drugs.
Again, family, listen to what this governor is saying. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, right, is acquiring 10,000 doses of this drug to send to Governor Cuomo, right? The FDA ain't gonna give you any drug that ain't proven and tested. A matter of fact, we have received a shipment of drug right now from Syria, the same drug, because they're using it there in Syria as well. You see what I'm talking about? There is no reason to panic, my brother and sister, about this goddamn disease. There's no reason for Americans to be panicky. There's no reason for you to be scared. There's no reason for you to be buying out the whole goddamn grocery store and making your will. For what? For what? To please who? Listen to the governor.
and seeing where we get. The president, he spoke to this drug therapy in his press conference yesterday. I spoke to him afterwards. I said that New York would be interested. Again, we have the most number of cases, and health professionals have all recommended to me that we try it. So we will try it. We're also working on a number of other drug therapies, an antibody therapy, possible vaccines. We have a company here in New York called Regeneron that is really showing some promising results. I've exempted them from the no work order because they could possibly have a really significant achievement for us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC.
Okay, family. So not only that we have drugs out there that can cure, right, or prevent death, but there's a process right now that they are working on other drugs, robustly working to get other drugs on the market. Why are we in such a panic? Why are we in such a scare? Why are we on lockdown? Like this is some goddamn curfew or martial law. Why? Why certain sector of society want us to be living like this? Why they want to scare us? For what reason and purpose? Huh? When we know that based on what happened in 2009 and 2010, a lot of Americans right now don't know what. Ask them what the swine flu was all about. They don't goddamn know. They don't remember the swine flu. Why? Because at that time, mainstream media wasn't blowing up crap about that. Wasn't even talking about that. Obama didn't have a daily press briefing like how this administration have a daily press briefing, right? And when Obama declared state of emergency, how many people knew about it because of the swine flu? What type of executive or legislative act did Congress take, like what's going on right now in Congress? Right now in Congress, they are debating a $2 trillion. They're debating a $2 trillion right now.
Let's not work on pet priorities.
Budget.
We can debate permanent paid leave. Permanent paid leave granted by the federal government some other time. This is a pandemic. It's an economic emergency, a public health emergency. The American people want a response. They don't want us to focus on this right now. I made a lot of phone calls in recent days back home. None of this is possible without the wherewithal, without the hard work of sturdy Americans, without great American innovation. None of the resources that are required to actually sustain our government, to feed our families. People need places to work. Here's what's happening in Indiana, a little snapshot. The RV industry, the global headquarters of the recreational vehicle industries, Elkhart, Indiana. We're seeing RV companies temporarily shutting down in Indiana, and I know we're seeing it across the country. The hotel industry. Today, the two largest hospitals in Indianapolis had to shut their doors. I'm not just talking about buildings shutting their doors. This closure is going to mean the loss of employment for about 780 full-time workers. Think of all the family members that depend on those workers. This is an emergency. The auto industry. Hoosiers proudly manufacture the components for our auto industry. They assemble those components into finished automobiles. That industry has been brought to a halt on account of this unique crisis. And the worst, we hear, is yet to come. Airlines, they're feeling the most immediate impact. I flew the other day from my home in the Indianapolis area, flew out of the airport to Washington, D.C. It wasn't a charter flight. I was the only passenger. I was the only passenger on the aircraft. We know that's not a sustainable business model. When you're paying for the fuel, you got a pilot and a co-pilot and a flight attendant and me.
All right. So you hear that, family? In Washington, D.C., as we speak, in real time, they're talking about
don't overpay
about
WikiBuy
the $2 trillion worth of stimulus package to rebound restart the economy, rejump the economy. No, so $2 trillion, huh? $2 trillion. Look, family, and one of the things that's going on there in Washington, D.C., what they have in Congress is that here it is, we have this pandemic according to them, right? This state of emergency. We have this state of emergency right now, right? The coronavirus. And you got politicians in Washington, D.C. They call it pork fat. They want to keep on padding this bill way in excess of $2 trillion, right? So that they can throw in some stuff that have no relevancy to this present crisis. So the present crisis is the coronavirus. People need to continue to receive a paycheck. Small businesses need to continue to keep their workers employed, right? The truck drivers need to keep moving products from point A to point B. The economy, the hustle and bustle of the economy, the engine that could, need to keep on doing. Teachers who are out of school because of the coronavirus still need to receive a paycheck. They are not out of the classroom because of a strike or because of their own will. It's because of this coronavirus. So we need to ensure that they keep getting a paycheck. Nothing wrong with that. This is America, right? And they have been telling us from day one that this is the richest and most powerfulest country on the face of the earth. So we can keep our teachers paid, right? Our first responders paid, small business entrepreneurs like myself, you know what I mean? Well, for small business, they're talking about the SBA, that's loan, they're giving us loans. Now, from what I've been hearing, the loans can end up being a grant if, certain things apply, but that's neither here or there. But this is what I'm talking about, family. Why are we so scared, or why they're pushing the scare tactics? For what reason is the scare tactics? CNN?
As opposed to just going. People are going to do it anyway. But, I mean, as a matter of principle, to just go out and say, prescribe this for me, what that would do would probably deplete the supplies for the people who might need it if it shows to be working. I mean, that's one of the real, I think, unintended consequences of everybody out there.
Man, that's bullshit. That's bullshit, family. If people need the drug, right? This drug is a drug that's been in production for over 20 years. So if people, the only people who's gonna get the drug is those who have been prescribed by a doctor. So if you take sick and you say, Doc, I need the drug, and the doctor prescribed the drug for you, number one, that's gonna go towards their stats. So they're gonna say, okay, we prescribe 1,000 drugs to 1,000 people, and 1,000 people got better. Right? That's clinical trial, right? That's a trial right there. But it's not the type of trial that they want. They want what they call controlled trial. I mean, they want X amount of people in a room, right, who they prescribe the drugs like a goddamn guinea pig or some crap. That's what they want. So if it's not in that, if the trial itself is not according to their own ideology or their own concept or their own procedure, right? They are so programmed to think a certain way, right? What's the difference? You have 200 people in a room and you give those 200 people that pill, right? And then you conduct your survey, right? What's the difference in giving 200 people that's actually sick in the hospital or at home? It's the same thing. You're giving them the same goddamn pill, right? The pill gonna do whatever the pill does or the drug does, and then you can write your report. It's just a different scenario or a different case or a different situation.
Trying to get the drug.
So, Dr. Fauci, Mayor de Blasio announced today that New York City is expected to run out of medical supplies in 2 to 3 weeks. I spoke to him last night. I just want to play a bit of what he said and have you respond.
What I'm really deeply concerned about is medical supplies.
Now, look at this. So, CNN, Andrew Cooper, he go to Mayor de Blasio, right? Mayor de Blasio. Now, he didn't go to the governor, Governor Cuomo. No, he didn't go to Governor Cuomo. Because Governor Cuomo, as the governor, as the chief executive officer of the territory of New York, right, is the one who is, you know, spending the public's money, and the one who is actually making the deal or working with the federal government to get certain resources here into New York that will assist the people who are affected by the coronavirus. No. Because of their political bias and their hatred, they are bringing somebody on like the goddamn mayor of New York, who they know will talk crap about the process. They know this. He will go there and speak crap about the process. So that's who they brought on the show so that their audience will see. No, family, look, let me tell you, man, we can go clip after clip and show you. Look, this is listen to this report from CNNBC.
On Saturday morning about a combination of drugs he said have a real chance to be one of the biggest game changers in the history of medicine. I want to get over to Meg Terrell right now, who joins us with more on the combination and the data behind it. Meg.
Well, good morning, Andrew. So it's a combination of 2 existing drugs. One is hydroxychloroquine.
A combination of what? 2 existing drugs. This is not something that we need to go there and do trial, but even though that's happening, listen to what your brother is saying, family. Even though you got companies out there right now who are testing, who are trying to get a new drug on the market that they can actually label right off the bat COVID-19 drug, because that's the problem that the CDC is having right now, right? Or that's where that's the bridge that they cannot cross, because this drug that's been out there for over 20 years was labeled to cure other diseases. They have a professional disposition using this present drug or to give people this drug because it's not directly associated or tested as a drug to be used for COVID-19. Oh, so goddamn ridiculous.
The other one is azithromycin, and in that tweet, President Trump is kicking off kind of a debate in the medical world, as you said, saying this has a real chance to be one of the biggest game changers in the history of medicine. So what are these drugs? Well, hydroxychloroquine is approved to treat malaria and some other autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, and azithromycin is an existing antibiotic. And what the president was referring to is this small study run in France in COVID-19 patients. It was only 36 patients, 20 of whom were on treatment. Those who took hydroxychloroquine alone saw at day 6, 57% of them had cleared the virus from their blood, compared with the control group, which didn't get that treatment, of only 12% of patients. Then when they looked at the combination with the antibiotic, which was given to prevent secondary infections, 100% were cured at day 6.
100% of the people who was given the combination drug, right, in Europe, 100% of the people was cured. What the hell is this pandemic all about? Why are we out there scaring people? Why are we out there shutting down schools, closing, stopping people from work? What the hell is going on? 100% of people in France who took this drug was cured. It was out of their system. Are you going to tell me that I should be living in fear of this coronavirus? I ain't no goddamn stupid.
Now, there are major caveats with this study. The small size, that combination was only given to 6 patients. Also, concerns about cardiotoxicity. So,
look, family, we don't care. If 6 people, we don't care the size. If 6 people get this drug, right? If 6 people, because at the time it was only 6 people that was in this group. And if 6 people get this drug, and all of them, all 6 recovered, no more in the blood, no more. The disease is not in the blood no more. We ain't give a shit if it's 6 or 600. So you're going to say because it's a small group,
safety issues for the heart in particular of this combination. Still, many saying this is potentially promising and it needs to be tested more rigorously and on a larger scale. So New York is starting to do this. Governor Cuomo saying the FDA is shipping 10,000 doses of that combination for a trial to start on Tuesday. The WHO is also starting a trial of multiple drugs, including this one. And there are many trials going on around the world, including at the University of Minnesota, on hydroxychloroquine. However, doctors are already starting to use these drugs to treat COVID-19, and we're seeing a massive spike in prescriptions, which means, according to Premier, you're seeing this data here in the demand, patients who need these drugs for other things like lupus and rheumatoid.
Why mainstream media ain't telling you that? Why mainstream media ain't saying, hold up, family, hold up, There is no need for us to be panicking. There is no need for us to be scared. We have no reason for that. There is doctors out there right now prescribing this medicine to people who are infected, people who got this disease. And what is happening that they are getting better? Why the hell they ain't telling you that? Why?
Arthritis aren't able to get them right now. And many are also concerned of the use before true clinical trials have proven that they work. But hopefully we'll get this data pretty soon, guys.
Family, let me tell you something. There's a reason why they ain't saying it. There's a reason.
News and social media about a potential effective treatment against SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19. And that is the combination of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. And this came out of a study out of France, a small study. And since the publication, it was tweeted out by President Trump. It was publicized largely by the media and other big accounts, and it was touted as a potential game changer. And there was demands that the FDA immediately approve this therapy. However, the scientific community was sort of like, let's pump the brakes on this and let's take a closer look at this before we make these sweeping recommendations.
You have to understand that this is big money. This is pharmaceutical, right? It's not about the welfare of human beings, or how quick we get the drug, or how quick we can recover from it, from existing drugs. Because again, these drugs, either individual or combined, is existing, right? So the pharmaceutical company, big pharmaceutical, right? If they should jump on board right away and say, yes, everything is good, or we can start to prescribe this drug, or if the CDC just jump on board, or the FDA and all of these big pharmaceutical companies and these big CEOs jump and say, okay, yes, let's go ahead. They will be losing millions, if not billions of dollars. That's where their concern is at, family. And the fact that they won't be getting millions of dollars to go through their process. That's where it's at. In the process, it's not about we making this money or saving life. They don't care about saving life. Whose life? My life, your life? They care about that, family. They want to keep this information. They want to keep this information as hidden, right? They want to keep this information as secretly as possible. They care about me and you.
All you papayas,
Edens,
no matter what
and papayas,
just the work of King Selassie and put your wrist.
Run it.
Hurt the heart, but you can't hurt the soul. Trusting on the Almighty more and more. Me no man, no devil control. God does me guide when me a play life role. Hurt the heart, but you can't hurt the soul. Trusting on the Almighty more and more. Me no man, no devil control. God does me guide when me a play. Where me love him all him kingdom me a go tour. Love me so much me no have to kick off no door. Just for receive him more and more. Every day he then broke out like a sword. Good over evil and Tony be sure. Now live up Kingston but me live up Portmore. When me meditate upon the seashore. Talking to the rich and also to the poor. Hurt the heart but you can't hurt the soul. Trusting on the Almighty more and more. Me no man no devil control. God does me guide when me a play life role. Hurt the heart but you can't hurt the soul. Trusting on the Almighty more and more. Me no man no devil control. God does me guide when me a play. I live my hands to the hills, come at health. I know I'm gonna ship vanity now health. listen. Hurt the heart, but you can't hurt the soul. Trusting on the Almighty more and more. Me no under no devil control. God does me guide when me a play life road. Hurt the heart, but you can't hurt the soul. Trusting on the Almighty more and more. Me no under no devil control. God does me guide when me a play. Look how much black people are gone down the chain. After them release the tackle and chain. Finish education, that's what we obtain. Them one we worshiping at the wrong name. From no Babylon and I go lose on the fame. Now go drink no wine, we now go stick no cocaine. Rastafari we come to proclaim. Hurt the heart, but you can't hurt the soul. Trusting on the Almighty more and more. Me no under no devil control. God does me guide when me a play life role. Hurt the heart, but you can't hurt the soul. Trusting on the Almighty more and more. Me no under no devil control. God does me guide when me a play. Where me love him and him kingdom me a go tour. Love me so much me no have to kick off no door. Just for receive him more and more. Every day he then broke out like a sword. Put up Bible and told me be sure. Now live a Kingston but me live a Portmore. When me meditate upon the seashore. Talking to the rich and also to the poor. Hurt the heart but you can't hurt the soul. Trusting on the Almighty more and more. Me no under no devil control. God does me guide when me a play life role.
Hurt the heart, but they can't hurt the soul. Look, it was our brother, the late great Robert Nesta Marley, who told us that, look, they can fool some people sometime, but they can't fool all the people all the time. Because now we see the light. You know? You feel me? What get him tell us? Him say we're sick and tired of them hism schism. Prefer die and go to heaven in a Jesus name. We know and we understand Almighty God living, so you can fool some people sometime, but you can't fool all the people. Jah Rastafari. Look, they go with the hypocrisy. Now look, the president is doing his weekly or his daily briefing. Let's catch a little bit of the president and this COVID-19 speech, and then we call it a wrap.
And their great president. Most of those returned were senior citizens. My administration, in cooperation with Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and the private sector, coordinated their safe return to the United States. So thank you to Governor Abbott. Terrific governor, terrific man. Earlier today, I signed an executive order invoking presidential authority under Section 4512 of the Defense Production Act to prohibit the hoarding of vital medical equipment and supplies, such as hand sanitizers, face masks, and personal protective equipment. We have a lot of face masks, a lot of equipment is coming in, and we have some people hoarding. And Attorney General Barr is going to be speaking about that in a second. We want to prevent price gouging, and critical health and medical resources are going to be protected in every form. Under this directive, the Secretary of Health and Human Services is authorized to designate essential health and medical supplies as scarce. So he'll designate certain supplies and medical elements as scarce, and that means it will be a crime to stockpile these items in excessive quantities, which is happening to a relatively small degree, we think, but nevertheless it's happening. We can't let it happen. And we can't let them resell them at excessive prices, which some people are doing. Very simply, we will not allow anyone to exploit the suffering of American citizens for their own profit. So we're going to be watching that with our great Attorney General very closely. The Department of Justice will be aggressively prosecuting fraudulent schemes related to the pandemic. Yesterday, federal prosecutors took action in their first case, shutting down a website selling a totally fake vaccine, if you can believe that one. As president, I will always fight to protect Americans from being exploited. Thankfully, all throughout the country. We're witnessing extraordinary acts of compassion, benevolence, and unity. Construction companies are donating masks by the hundreds of thousands. Manufacturing workers are transforming their assembly lines. Citizens are volunteering to deliver food and medicine to the elderly. We're truly seeing America at its best. We're really seeing things that people never thought even could happen. Frankly, we never thought this could happen, but the way most Americans are working toward getting it solved and just doing what they have to do to make this go away has been incredible. It's been incredible. I want to take a moment to thank the everyday heroes who are making our vast effort against the virus possible. And thank you to the healthcare workers and the first responders. These are very brave people. Thanks also to the hardworking men and women of Federal Express, UPS, the United States Postal Service, and the truckers who are maintaining our supply chains and supply lines. We thank you very much. Great job. We also want to give our regards and thanks to everyone at our grocery stores working the night shift so that shelves can be restocked, and the restaurant workers and delivery drivers keeping our families fed. So many of these restaurants, it's incredible. They're doing service where people come and they pick it up, delivery. I mean, it's been incredible what they've been doing. Totally different business than they were in, other than they cook food. Other than that, it's like a totally different business. Most of all, I want to thank the American people for rising to the challenge and showing incredible courage, determination, patience, grace, and grit. From New York to Seattle and everywhere in between, your acts of selflessness and sacrifice and ingenuity are a powerful testament to the American character. It's really being shown. It's really showing up at a level that people are really respecting. All over the world, they're respecting. And the world has problems. We're at 148 countries now. 148 countries are affected by the invisible scourge. And all of the uplifting reflections of the American spirit are out there for everyone to see. Together, we will care for our fellow citizens, and we will win this war, and we'll win it much sooner than people think. And we'll be back in business as a country pretty soon. You'll be hearing about that also pretty soon. Now I'd like to ask Attorney General Bill Barr to say a few words, and we'll take questions in a little while. Thank you.
Okay, family. So that's the daily briefing that's going on right now in Washington, D.C. They have been doing daily briefing to the press. Also going on in Washington, D.C. is the Senate, the Congress, U.S. Congress, talking about their $2 trillion package that they're working on right now.
You know, when we're looking at the fact of what's happening every day, and I'm not going to go back and repeat it, but we know what's happening, the numbers of people that are dying on a daily basis. Every day that we put this off, people are dying. So with that reason, I really think right now, somewhere in the Capitol, in a room, we got Democrats and Republicans that are going to come to some kind of an agreement. I don't care when it is. It can be midnight. It can be any time. It's got to happen. We are out of time. It is a crisis. We don't have the luxury of time. It's going to have to be done. It's going to have to be done tonight. With that, I yield the floor.
Okay. Right. So this to and fro type of thing going on in Washington. It's hard to say that it's political. You know what I mean? Everything that happened in Washington D.C., the District of Columbia is politics, and that's the sad thing about it. You know, the welfare of the American people is not on the forefront, and that's what we need. We need to have these politicians thinking about we, the American people. And it's a beautiful thing, family, right now to see Cuomo working with the President Donald Trump, and to see what's his name, the governor of California working. You know, they're working, and these people are people that on an average day they be out there bickering against each other. You know what I mean? And this crisis bring them together. Right now here, Gavin Newsom, the president, the governor for California, saying good things about the presidents, speaking truth to power, speaking on what he's actually doing, or the relationship that the federal government is actually, or how the federal government and these states are working together, which is a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, and some other issue we can speak politics, but right now we want to ensure that, look, whatever drug is out there, you know what I mean, we're going to call it an end, and we're going to continue to sip our wine. No, well, this is not wine, this is cranberry juice. Continue to drink our cranberry juice and watch these clowns in the US Congress debate over this $2 trillion package. Look, this is a brother, Anthony Brown, saying to all kings and queens, princes and princesses, warriors, peace, much love.